listening to the international hit show, The Baby Names Podcast. And here are your hosts, the Moss Sisters.
I'm Jennifer Moss.
And I'm Mallory Moss.
And we're the founders of babynames.com.
And we're sisters, too.
Hooray! First, before we get into it, how was your time with your daughter?
Oh, it was so nice seeing her. And tomorrow we're getting matching tattoos.
Ooh, what are they going to be?
They're going to be semicolons for anti-suicide.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Good for you guys. I love that. So, jumping into the show, our first segment is always interesting names we found since the last episode. And mine is Zilpher, Zilpher. It's the name of the brother of a woman I know, and I'd never heard that name before in my entire life. But looking it up, it seems to be a variation of the surname Silver. But I can't find a definitive origin. It's so cool, and it kind of ties into our theme today. I've also been seeing some more Kylers lately. That would be like Tyler with a K, or a combination of Kyle and Tyler. And speaking of Tyler, my friend named her twins, and they're Tyler Nathaniel and Sophia Celeste. So a shout out to Lynn and Dave, and now I hope they go get some sleep.
Those are great names.
I know.
Congrats, Lynn and Dave. As far as names, I met a female Paxton this week.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was interesting because I have only met male Paxtons.
Me too.
Also, I met a Winston like Churchill. That was a guy.
Yeah. Winston is in the top 500 now.
Oh.
It's kind of climbing the chart. Yeah, that is interesting. Maybe thanks to The New Girl, in which there were two characters named Winston.
Never saw it.
Oh, it's a good show. The topic of the week is names from STEM, and that stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. First, we're going to go over some cool names of famous people in STEM, then some words from those different categories, and then wrap it up with some of our favorites. Of course, there are so many people we could include, so I've decided to filter it out by some cool and unusual names of people in STEM, names that you might actually consider naming a baby.
Or a pet, because those would be cool names for pets, too.
That's true. And we'll have a future episode about pet names because you can be so much more creative with those. You don't have to worry about them being teased for their names.
I don't know. Maybe a kitty will tease a doggy.
Yeah, maybe.
So let's start with the inventors.
Me first. If I was having a girl right now, I would definitely use the name Tesla after Nikola Tesla. Now, Nikola is a great name too, but Tesla is a nice alternative to the girl's name Tess, and you can honor one of the greats in wireless technology. He was so ahead of his time.
What about the car?
Well, the car's cool, too. I mean, I wish I had one. I wouldn't mind having a car and a kid named Tesla.
All right. What about his rival, Edison?
Well, you know what? Go ahead and name your kid or dog Edison, but he was a hack, with most of his patents being stolen from other inventors. So, okay, I wouldn't use it.
Okay. So some other inventors with cool names are Leonardo, like Da Vinci. I like that name, Leo. We've always known that that's one of my favorite boys' names. And I like Leonardo, like DiCaprio.
Yeah, I do too.
Brothers Orville and Wilbur Wright. Let's not go that direction, guys.
You don't like Orville?
No.
I think Orville kind of reminds me of the popcorn, and Wilbur of Mr. Ed, but that's an old 60s show, and the young'uns today probably wouldn't know it. But I can't help hearing it said, Wilbur.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess Wilbur could be called Will, but yeah, it just doesn't fly with me.
Me either. There's Guglielmo Marconi, an Italian physicist that perfected a radio system that transmitted Morse code over the Atlantic Ocean.
I like Marconi or Guglielmo. That's kind of cool.
One of our far distant relatives, Albert Einstein. You could use either name, but Einstein has turned into a noun meaning smart person. He's such an Einstein.
it's not such a bad thing, really. We have twin cousins named Albert and Abraham, Al and Abe. I kind of like that.
Boy, are they cute.
They're so cute. They're so chubby.
I know. Well, Alexander Graham Bell, you could use Graham or Bell to honor this Scottish-American inventor.
Yes, and here's one of my favorites, Hedy Lamarr, born Hedwig Eva Maria Kiesler. She was one of old Hollywood's leading ladies, but prior to her acting career, she was an inventor and a scientist in Austria. What she invented was the precursor to modern Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. In 2014, she was inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame. There's a great documentary about her called Bombshell, the Hedy Lamarr story, and you can see that on Netflix.
Very cool. I'll make sure to watch it.
And they're making a biopic about her, too.
All right. Another cool name is Blaise Pascal, and both those could be names for babies.
Yeah.
Pascal was a child prodigy born in 1623 in France. He was a mathematician, physicist, religious philosopher, and writer. He laid the foundation for the modern theory of probabilities and formulated what came to be known as Pascal's principle of pressure. Jen, wasn't it an early programming language too?
Yep, Pascal, before my time.
Yeah, whatever. And someone we mentioned in our Names from Space episode, Galileo Figaro. Both great names.
Do we have to do that every time we say Galileo?
Apparently we do.
So.
The name literally means a person from Galilee, now northern Israel. The name Galilee is from the Hebrew root galal, which means roll, which could refer to rolling hills or rolling waves of the sea.
Cool. Rosalind Elsie Franklin, born 1920, died 1958, was an English chemist and X-ray crystallographer, and she provided much of the experimental data that's used to establish the structure of DNA. Rosalind is a Shakespeare name that needs to come back into style right now. It's beautiful.
Rosie.
Yeah. Carolus Linnaeus, 1707 to 1778, male. Although the girl's name Linnea comes from the flower named by him, Linnaeus, Linnaeus, created the two-part Latin naming system that we use today to classify all life forms. He named and classified about 13,000.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Archimedes, born in about 287 BC and lived until about 212 BC. Archimedes founded the sciences of mechanics and hydrostatics. He calculated pi precisely, crazy for 300 years BCE, devised the law of exponents, created new geometrical proofs, and invented a bunch of ingenious mechanical devices.
Cool.
There's also Hypatia of Alexandria. She was a Greek philosopher, mathematician, and astronomer. Hypatia?
Hypatia.
Hypatia is the first woman scientist in history whose work and life details are documented. She was an outspoken proponent of the idea that the human mind could make natural phenomenon understandable.
That's kind of cool. I'll have to feature her on my Facebook page, Chick Story. And Chick Story I set up to profile women who made history, but not the history books. Okay, another cool name is Claudius Ptolemy, Ptolemy. And I've heard of guys named Ptolemy in current times. Claudius is a cool name too. It's a precursor to Claude. Ptolemy was an astronomer, geographer, and mathematician. And Ptolemy based his works on those of Theon the mathematician. Theon is also a Game of Thrones name, as you know from our episode on that. Theon described how prime numbers, geometrical numbers like squares, progressions, and music and astronomy are all interrelated. That sounds interesting. I'm going to go look up Theon. And now, on to one of my favorite modern-day mathematicians and theoretical physicists.
Wait, you have a favorite theoretical physicist?
I do. Doesn't everyone have a favorite theoretical physicist?
Nope.
Mine is Michio Kaku. He was born 1947, and maybe because I have a fascination with the science of time and time travel, and he talks and writes a lot about that. But like Bill Nye, Michio brought science into pop culture. He's a futurist and compares science fiction to actual science, and he's a founder of string field theory. Michio is a male Japanese name meaning man on a journey. And while we're talking about scientists in current pop culture, we can't forget Neil deGrasse Tyson. Tyson is an English surname meaning firebrand or son of Dennis.
Okay, then. In my arena, there's Irene Joliot-Curie, 1897 to 1956, better known as Madame Curie. She co-discovered how to convert stable chemical elements into designer radioactive elements, which have saved millions of lives being used in millions of medical procedures each year.
That was nice of her. Some other cool names. Philo Farnsworth made inventions that led to modern-day television. That's Philo. Josephine Cochrane was the inventor of the automatic dishwasher. Yeah, leave it to a woman. Bette Nesmith Graham invented liquid paper. She was the mom to monkey Mike Nesmith. Yeah.
And then Caress Crosby was the first recipient of a patent for the modern bra.
I wish we could do away with those. Beulah Louise Henry, that's Beula. She invented a bobbin-free sewing machine and a vacuum ice cream freezer. She received 49 patents and had around 110 inventions total.
Well, there's Dorado Jones.
Dorado Jones? Who's she?
Well, how do you know it's a she?
Well, because I wrote the script.
Okay. She was an American inventor nicknamed the Iron Woman. She invented the airplane muffler, a lightweight electric iron, a travel-size ironing board, a collapsible hat rack, and an anti-damp salt shaker. But this is kind of sad. She died in poverty in 1932.
Wow.
A famous quote by her is, "Do not forget to exploit men all you can, because if you don't, they will exploit you."
Ain't that the truth?
Well, that's jaded.
Faraday would be a cool name after Michael Faraday, 1791 to 1867. He discovered electromagnetic induction and devised Faraday's laws of electrolysis. The name Faraday is from the Irish Gaelic of Faraday, which means descendant of Feradach, most likely meaning man of the woods. Deepika Kurup is a 21-year-old inventor, current day, scientist. She developed a new and inexpensive method to clean water using solar power. Deepika is the feminine form of the name Deepika, which is a Sanskrit Indian name meaning to inflame or excite. Lyda Newman is an African-American inventor. She invented a hairbrush that could be taken apart, easy for cleaning. She was granted a U.S. patent on November 15th, 1898. Lyda could be a short form of the Greek name Lydia or the Dutch-German Adelaide.
Okay, well, Jennifer, of course, gave me this name. Subramanian Chandrasekhar, 1910 to 1995.
Good job.
Discovered that massive stars can collapse under their own gravity to reach infinite density. Today we called these collapsed stars black holes. It's a South Indian male name with no known meaning. However, a common translation is dear to Brahmins or of good deeds.
Subramanian. Interesting.
And we can't forget Charles Darwin, 1809 to 1882, who authored one of the most famous books in history, On the Origin of Species, in which he described and provided evidence for the theory of evolution by natural selection. Darwin would be a cute name. It's from the Old English meaning good friend.
Yeah, I like Darwin. Fibonacci, another cool name. Fibonacci's Book of Calculation introduced the Indian number system, now used worldwide, to Europe. Fibonacci was an Italian mathematician from Pisa, Italy. His last name was actually Bonacci, but they called him Filius Bonacci, Brother Bonacci, which got shortened to Fibonacci.
Okay.
Now, the Fibonacci sequence in math is the series of numbers that starts 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, and so on. The next number is found by adding up the two previous numbers before it. This code and pattern is seen a lot in the natural world, in formations like the form of a seashell or the seeds of a sunflower. It's really cool.
That is cool. I like Fibonacci. I think that's kind of a cute name. And they could call him
Fibber?
Not Fibber. That's like Flubber.
Oh.
They could call him Notch.
Notch. That's
Yeah.
cute.
How about Tycho Brahe, 1546 to 1601? Born Tig Ottesen Brahe, Tycho, Tycho, produced the best star catalog that had ever been compiled. It measured the orbit of Mars with unprecedented accuracy, paving the way for Kepler's laws of planetary motion and Newton's laws of gravity. Tycho is a Latinized form of the Old Norse name Thor. So if you love the name Thor or the Marvel movies and you don't want to use Thor literally, you can use Tycho.
Tycho. That's kind of cool. Alfred Nobel was a man and is a yearly prize given to worldwide scholars and achievers in science, literature, and peace. The man invented dynamite, the blasting cap, gelignite, and ballistite. He grew super wealthy by patenting and manufacturing explosives. I did not know that.
Well, I went to the Nobel home in Azerbaijan, and it was amazing.
Oh, cool. Is he from Azerbaijan?
No, not at all. They just had a home there. Alessandro Volta, 1745 to 1827, was the pioneer of electrical science, invented the electric battery. Alessandro is a form of the name Alexander, but I think Volt or Volta would be cool too. I take that back. I don't like Volt. Volta, maybe.
Sounds like Colt.
Yeah, I don't like Colt either. Sorry, Colts out there.
Linus Pauling, 1901 to 1994, was the maverick giant of chemistry, formulated valence bond theory and electronegativity, founded the fields of quantum chemistry, molecular biology, and molecular genetics, discovered the alpha helix structure of proteins, and proved that sickle cell anemia is a molecular disease. Which brings us to tech, another Linus Torvalds. He was a Finnish-American software engineer who was the creator and principal developer of the Linux kernel, which is the kernel for the Linux operating system and other operating systems such as the Android and Chrome.
Well, Elon Reeve Musk, co-founder of Tesla, the car company, and founder of SpaceX, Musk is a technology entrepreneur, investor, and engineer. The name Elon is a Hebrew biblical name from the Old Testament meaning oak tree. There's another way to spell Elon, and that's I-L-O-N, to mean oak tree as well.
It's your stepson.
It is my stepson. Javed Karim, German-American internet entrepreneur, technologist, and co-founder of YouTube. Javed is another Hebrew name. Oh, Jawed. Is it Javed
I think it's
or
Javed.
Jawed?
I think you're right.
Because German, it would be Javed, but Hebrew, it would be Jawed. Is another Hebrew name meaning generous and good.
Vinton Cerf, nicknamed Vint. In 1972, he constructed the DoD TCP/IP protocol,
OH,
which basically invented the internet. Vinton is a locational surname which derives from one of the ancient villages in Lancashire, Westmoreland, and Yorkshire, UK, now called Winton. But it could have originated from the term wine town or wine farm.
That's where you belong.
Okay. An Wang is a Chinese-American computer engineer and inventor who pioneered work in the field of magnetic core memory and founder of Wang Computers. An is a Chinese male name meaning peace.
Like An Li.
Yeah, and then one of my favorites, Ada Lovelace, who was born Augusta Ada King. She's the mother of computing science, the Countess of Lovelace, a daughter of Lord Byron, and the first known female computer programmer. Ada contributed to the first published computer program. She was the first person to see that computers could do more than just mathematical calculations, recognizing that musical notes and letters of the alphabet could be turned into numbers for manipulation by computers. So cool. Ada originally is a diminutive form of names that begin with ADE, like Adelaide.
And music notes, that's interesting. Kind of like do, 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 do.
Exactly, but back in the 1800s.
Yeah. Another female computer programmer name is Radhiya Joy Pearlman, American computer programmer and network engineer. She is most famous for her invention of the spanning tree protocol, which is fundamental to the operation of network bridges, which we still use today in computer networking. Radhiya is an Arabic name meaning happy or willing. Now that should give you some STEM name inspiration.
Now on to terminology, terms from STEM that we think would make pretty good names. I'll list some techie terms. Well, Data is a character name in the Star Trek universe. That's kind of cute.
For a dog.
How about app or applet?
Ugh.
I don't think I'd recommend applet because it sounds a little diminutive. Avatar.
Bug is a cute nickname, but I wouldn't give it as a given name. Good for pets.
Yeah, bug. Cache, which a lot of people use anyway, but CASH, or the technical term CACHE. Chrome, Cyber, Kindle, Linux, named after Linus Torvalds, Megabyte, Meta, META. Now, I had a dog named Newbie, but I wouldn't use that on a child. Pixel, kind of cute, better than Pixie. Coder, Scanner, and here's one, Zettabyte. And a zettabyte is one with 21 zeros after it, bytes.
Zeta, no. Don't name your baby Zeta.
Zeta.
Okay, now some cool names from the periodic table of elements. Argon, beryllium, well, beryl is a name.
Beryl.
Or burl. Yeah. Carbon, cobalt, which we mentioned in our color names episode. Copper, francium, indium, krypton, mercury, neon, osmium, oxygen. Don't name a baby oxygen. Polonium.
I think that's kind of cool. Like it's the breath of life.
Yeah, you do it. Polonium, radon, selenium, silicon. No, because that reminds me of boobs. Silver, thallium, titanium, vanadium, xenon, and zinc.
Xenon. Zinc. That's kind of cool. Great element names that could easily become people names, if only in science fiction. Now, lastly, some science math terms that I think could be names. Hypothesis and theory. Mal, do you know the difference between a hypothesis and a theory?
Why, I always thought they were synonyms.
They're not. A hypothesis is unproven and a theory is proven. So when you say I have a theory about something and it's not proven, you're actually not correct. Interesting, huh? Okay, how about aquifer? Rhymes with my name. Atom, ATOM. Catalyst. I like that one. Element, evidence. NASA.
Yeah.
Neutron, patent. Quantum, valence. Formula, fractal. Fractal's kind of cool.
Fractal's awful. Wait a minute. Back up. Fractal sounds like something that you get when you need to make sure.
In your booty?
Yes. To make sure that you don't have cancer. Yes.
Because it rhymes with rectal? Fractal.
I'm telling you, fractal's a terrible name.
Fracurectal? Okay. Infinity, logic, vector, linear, paradox, and then wait for it, matrix. So we're ending on matrix, folks.
I like ending on matrix.
And now it's time for Celebrity Baby News.
We have a lot of celeb news from the past couple weeks. First daughter Chelsea Clinton gave birth to her third child, a boy named Jasper Clinton Mezvinsky. Jasper joins older sister Charlotte, who's 5, and a brother Aiden, who's 3.
Country singer Thomas Rhett and his wife Lauren Akins have announced on Instagram that they are expecting a baby boy. Thomas and Lauren adopted their first daughter, Willa Gray, from Uganda, bringing her home in 2017. While they were going through the adoption process, though, the couple discovered they were expecting. Lauren and Thomas welcomed Willa home just 3 months before giving birth to their second daughter, Ada James, in August of 2017.
I bet she was named after Ada Lovelace.
Why?
Because there aren't that many Adas around.
Who's Ada Lovelace?
She was the first computer programmer.
Oh, I forgot.
We said that 5 minutes ago.
All right. The two girls are excited to meet their baby brother.
Actress Anne Hathaway is expecting her second child, she announced with a belly pic on Instagram. Anne and hub Adam Schulman have one son named Jonathan Rosebanks Schulman. That's very important. And Jonathan is 3.
Well, singer Natalie Imbruglia, most notably known for her song, wait for it, I'm all out of faith. This is how I feel, Torn, which came out in 1997, reveals she is pregnant with her first child. Imbruglia, I don't remember, 44, has dated quite a few notable Hollywood men over the years, including Lenny Kravitz, David Schwimmer, and Josh Hartnett. Isn't it Hartnett?
Hartnett, yeah.
Yeah. She is currently dating photographer Matt Field, although it appears Field is not the father. Oh. Natalie revealed on Instagram that she is pregnant via IVF and a sperm donor.
Wow, I want to know the story.
I know. Maybe it was Idris Elba.
I don't think he's going around donating sperm, but hey, he'd probably make a lot of money.
I'd buy some.
Singer...
I can't even have babies, and I'd buy some.
Me too. I just put it on the shelf.
That's right.
And talk to it. Singer and actress Christina Milian, 37, has announced on Instagram that she's expecting her first child with boyfriend Matt Pecora. Christina and Matt, a French singer, have been dating since 2017. The baby will be Matt's first child, but Christina has a 9-year-old daughter named Violet Madison Nash with her ex-husband, The Dream, whose real name is Terrius Youngdell Nash.
And for anyone who still cares about the Duggars, and that's not me, counting on couple John David Duggar and wife Abby Burnett have announced via People magazine that they will be welcoming their first child into the world. Whatever.
No comment on the Duggar family. Today's show host, Jenna Hager, and her husband, Henry Hager, welcomed their son on August 2nd, naming him Henry Harold Hal Hager. A lot of H's in there.
In Hartford, Hereford, and Hampshire, hurricanes hardly happen.
Hurricanes hardly ever happen. Little Henry joins older sisters Mila and Poppy, and his grandpa, former U.S. President George W. Bush, and Grandma Laura Bush. Okay.
Oh. All right. Supermodel and actress Mila Jovovich, 43, revealed she is 13 weeks preggo with her third girl. Mila and her husband, film director Paul W.S. Anderson, have 2 daughters, Ever, E-V-E-R, Gabo, G-A-B-O, 11, and Dashiell Eden, 4. Dashiell is spelled D-A-S-H-I-E-L, and their version of Eden is E-D-A-N.
I like those names. They're unique, but beautiful. Ever, Dashiell, and blank. Sure to be creative and beautiful. By the way, Mila's full name is Milica, and that's a Slavic name meaning work or industrious.
Oh, I like Milica, M-I-L-I-C-A.
Yeah. So now our last segment is where we take letters from you, our listeners. And Mal, why don't you read the first one?
All right. Hi there. Hello. I was wondering if you could help out a girl who could never find her name on a keychain. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mallory, that's who.
Or Jennifer, because they were always sold out.
Well, I'm just terribly sorry for you because people actually had your name. My name is Librina, pronounced like the teenage witch, but with an L. And I shared that name with my great-grandmother. She was named to honor her grandmother, Libera, L-I-B-E-R-A. I've been able to find out a little bit about Libera, but I was hoping to find out if Librina is a real name or one of my family created. Thanks for your help, Librina, and I'm not a teenage witch.
Well, I did some research, and Librina is actually a real name, not created by your family. It would have actually been a diminutive of the name Libera, which means liberty or freedom. There are a lot of women named Librina, a majority of them with Italian surnames, so it definitely originates in Italy. And it's probable that your great-grandma's nickname was Librina, and that's why they gave you that name. The relationship between the two names would be similar to, say, like Lillian and Lily. It would be a diminutive. Although it sounds like Sabrina, it's beautiful and unique, so enjoy it.
Yes, do, and thanks for writing.
Thanks for writing. We also got a message from an author, Dr. Sarah Passfield Neofitou. That's a great name. Neofitou, who wrote a book called You Stole My Heart, Do I Have to Take Your Name? She has a PhD in linguistics and says the book is all about helping engaged couples navigate the tricky issue of surnames. She wrote us because she says she used babynames.com and referenced us in the book. Woohoo! Thanks, Sarah. We appreciate that, and I can't wait to read it.
Me either.
All right. So that's the show, folks. So if you love STEM, please encourage your daughters to go into STEM if they want to, because it's an ever-growing field. I want to tell a little story before I leave. You know, I'm a computer programmer. When I was in high school, I really wanted to go to the computer club, and I showed up at the door, and all these guys looked at me, and they said, "What are you doing here? You're a girl." And I listened to them. I actually turned around and walked away, and because I didn't have enough self-confidence at the time. But I did go into computers. I loved them. I learned them in college, and the rest is history. And now babynames.com. Woohoo! So I love you, Mel. And we love our big sisters, Kate and Sue.
Yes, we do.
I will see you in a couple weeks when we talk about what? Next time, end of August, we're going to have a fun one. Superheroes and superpower names.
Can we do supervillains too?
Of course.
Cool.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that one. We mentioned Thor once in this one. We've mentioned Thor in a couple episodes.
We did.
But superhero and superpower names. Now, that includes Moxie Crime Fighter, Mal.
All right, I'm ready for the Mox.
All right, see you later. I love you.
Love you too. Bye, Jen.
We love our listeners. Bye.
We do. Bye.